the vinyl bubble finally going to burst in 2025? Yes, record sales are still on the rise, but there are signs that trouble's brewing. Alright, 33ers, this is something I've been thinking about for a while, and it's something I discussed in a members only video recently, but I wanted to bring the discussion over here to the main channel as well. I kind of started thinking about this in December when I did my annual viewer year-end survey, and there are a couple interesting results that came out of this year's polling. One is that the majority of respondents said they cut back on record purchases in 2024 because of rising costs. My second takeaway was the sheer number of people who also said they would be buying fewer records in 2025, again because of rising costs, the rising cost of records, and the rising cost of life in general. Everything is going up: housing, food, transportation, and we kind of have to pick and choose what we want to buy and manage our money more wisely. In those surveys, a lot of people also told me that rather than records, they're buying more compact discs or getting into high-resolution streaming. And I kind of got to thinking, what are the real-world consequences going to be of all of these trends?
Channel 33, RPM.
Personally, I've been buying fewer records recently for a couple of reasons. One is cost. Here in Canada, it's not unusual to see a new release priced for 40 or 50 bucks, which is kind of crazy because just a few years ago, the same records were 25 or 30 bucks. The other thing is, most of the back catalog stuff I ever wanted, I now own. It's on those shelves behind me. So nowadays, most of the records I'm buying, once in a while I come across like a holy grail in the wild, but most of the records I'm buying are new releases and the occasional reissue and the occasional deluxe reissue, that kind of thing. I'm also getting a lot more into high resolution streaming. It's come a long way. It sounds really good. And I notice a lot of people my age or in my age bracket are finding themselves in the same situation, right? You've bought all the back catalog stuff you want. New records are kind of expensive, so you're slowing down, which kind of got me to thinking, who is or who has been sustaining the vinyl revival in recent years? So this is interesting. New stats this week show that vinyl record sales increased 4.3% in the US in 2024. I'm just reading off my screen here. And it seems it's young people who are responsible for the boost in record sales in recent years, which is a good thing, right? We need fresh blood in this hobby in order to sustain it, in order for it to keep going in future years. And I'm basing this idea that's young people sustaining the vinyl revival on a couple things. I mean, look at the top selling records of last year, and you'll see it's largely music geared to people under 30 years old. In the top 10, we see artists like Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish and the like, and generally it's not 50 or 51-year-old men like myself buying those records. But if we accept the fact that the younger generation or younger people may be really sustaining the vinyl revival, at least over the past year or two, I'm not sure how sustainable that is either, for a couple of reasons. One is that how many $30, $40, $50 records can young people afford? And number two, if you look at the top selling albums, a lot of them were Taylor Swift albums, and a lot of Swifties are buying those records. But is it really reasonable to expect that in every year going forward, Taylor Swift is going to release 5 records and they're going to blow up and that's going to help propel vinyl sales? I don't think so. I also used to think that a compact disc or CD revival was imminent, similar to the vinyl revival, but I'm kind of changing my mind on that. But it's interesting because I do these viewer surveys and so many of you are telling me that you're buying fewer records, but you're buying more CDs instead because you really love that physical media, the tactile, a tactile experience of actually physically holding music. But I'm not sure if that's really representative or really represents what's going on in the bigger picture. Again, there are some new stats this week from Illuminate that show that physical album sales declined 1% in 2024. Physical album sales include records, cassettes, and compact discs. Of course, as we know, record sales went up, so we can assume perhaps that compact disc sales went down. I mean, that said, I know that these statistics don't necessarily or don't at all reflect what's going on in the used market, and that's where a lot of deals on CDs are being found nowadays, but still kind of makes you wonder what's going on. Given all of these factors we've talked about, what's the future of vinyl? What is the future of the vinyl revival? And this is where I really see trouble brewing. People my age are going to be buying fewer records for the reasons we've talked about. Younger people are going to be buying fewer records for the reasons we've talked about. And kind of where does that leave us? Fewer records being sold. And if fewer records are being sold, there's less money being made. So you'd think that this would be bad for independent record stores, right? We may lose more independent record stores, which would suck. We may see fewer new releases issued on vinyl. We may see less back catalog stuff issued on vinyl if the demand isn't there. So none of that is good. On the positive side, if we see fewer records being sold, prices may actually level out. I'm not sure if prices will ever go down, but I think prices on new and used records are bound to level out at some point. And I really think that's coming in 2025 because all the price increases we've seen are really not sustainable. Personally, I don't think this whole vinyl thing is going to go away again anytime soon. Speaking strictly for myself, I have no plans to stop buying records. That said, there are signs that the red hot market is going to cool off in 2025, and I'm completely okay with that. How about you? All right, 33ers, this is always an interesting topic to discuss. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will be back again soon. Until then, keep on spinning.